Okay, in this episode, this is episode 6. We're going to talk about skills, how to get them, how to use them, how to convince other people you have them. This is a concept I've been thinking about lately simply by the fact that I still am in the process of getting those skills. It's a really tricky thing because skills is something that you can't really fake, right? It's something that you have to learn. But how do you learn them? Usually by doing. You can't really get the opportunities to actually do them in the real world without first, having the skills, right? You have to prove somebody you can do something to get the skills. And then only when you get the opportunities to use the skills, to learn the skills, that you actually learn them. This is a tricky little thing, a loop that happens in all of, I don't know, business when it comes to like delivering a service. It's something that I've faced, something that every single service-based business contact of mine, network that I'm communicating with also faces. It seems like to be one of these fundamental truths of your progression as a professional. Um, that yeah, you just have to have skills. You can't really fake them, but it's a loop, right? It's like this. What's the catch 22? That's the term where you have to do something to get a thing, but you have uh, to get a thing, you have to do something. I don't know if I described it correctly, but you understand the gist. So how do you kind of solve for this? So far, I still don't know. Because in my experience, at this point in time, I actually have some proof, I guess, and some actual confidence behind my skills. And it so just seems I can kind of try and spin it every way I can, but the reality seems very straightforward. You can't really fake it. Well, I can. You have to. You have to fake it till you make it. That's the kind of point that I've arrived in. Unfortunately, I wish it was not the case. I wish it was like a system or something, but it just is. From every single experience that I've heard people talk, and the same I can say that it always starts with you just going out there and kind of faking it, saying that you're able to do something without really being able to do something. Then you get the opportunities and actually you get the chance to actually do the thing. You get the chance to prove yourself. Then you learn on the fly. You're like that meme that me and buddy keep repeating, where it's like the meme where a fighter pilot is in his jet and he's reading the book How to Fly or something on the fly. Funny, but yeah, that's just how it is. And I feel like if you're a young entrepreneur, still at the stage before you actually had a client, this is something that you're facing, right? You have this thing that's going on in your mind where you don't have the confidence at all to kind of pitch somebody, the idea that you can do something. Like, I don't know, for example, you're going around and saying to businesses, I can do ads for you. You're going around saying, hey, I can do automations for you. Hey, I can automate this thing for you. I can build you a funnel. I can draw you a logo, right? I can make you a website. Um, I can and like fix your local SEO, all these kind of ideas of services. I can take out your trash. I don't know. All these I can clear your trash bins, right? Every single thing that you can ever do has this hill you have to climb over, which is the hill of reality. Because reality doesn't fucking care if your intentions are good. The reality doesn't care what you want to do. The reality doesn't care that you want to make this thing happen. Reality is that you haven't done anything. Reality is that you don't have any proof behind you, and you either have to have it or you have to fake it. And I guess from my perspective, what I can comment on this is that if you're smart, like a lot of people are, you first get the skills in a environment that allows you to learn without putting your name up, right? So you're in a business working as a junior specialist, you're in a business working as a regular specialist. You get years under your belt doing the same thing and actually getting results for clients under a company, and you actually have this reputation that, hey, I worked in this company or under this person under this name for this long in time, and I learned this and this and that. I've seen a lot of really good brands, a lot of people, basically graduate from working under somebody great. Then they can kind of piggyback, work off the shoulders of these great giants and make their own name by climbing up the reputation ladder like that. Unfortunately for me, though, I just didn't go that path. I choose definitely the hardest path, which is lame in retrospect. I definitely was of the mind that when I was like 20 already, I was at my, I'm too good for like doing work, I guess. It's not really that. No, I'm taking my words back. It's kind of a different feeling of you feeling behind already because the social media landscape, the era we live in, just is really so heavy on pushing this narrative that you had to be successful and so early, right? These all these kids making millions of dollars at like 20, 21, 18, whatever. And so you're like, what the fuck? Why can't I do that, right? I have more years. I have the same years or whatever. And you kind of feel like you're going to be able to replicate that, or that you uh, can somehow bypass this little thing that I said, hump of reality, right? There's a big block of reality behind you and the thing you're going for that you see on social media. And it's kind of, yeah, that's kind of sad in a way, because it really would be nice if we kind of normalized more the fact that, no, I guess people do normalize this, but I think it would be way better if people kind of normalize the fact that you gotta have those years behind you before you can go around and saying that you can do something. Um, and yeah, for me, I guess back when I started, I did a lot of ecom work, right? And that's kind of the idea behind the ecom work was that you don't really, the person buying doesn't really care how long you've done the thing, right? You just need to have a product that you can sell. Really, preferably, you have some reviews of real clients, but you don't really need them to get your first sale. You get your first three, you have three reviews to add on landing page. It works. So I guess a lot of kids make a lot of money on ecom for this reason, because you don't have to actually prove your results in a way. You just have to make it look pretty. Uh, if you're running a service business like I ended up doing, it's harder because you have to have those skills. You have to prove that you've had those skills. But if you haven't worked under somebody, that where you actually apply those skills is a fool's errand. Kind of, it's really uphill battle that I chose. But there's a different thing that you actually learn during that uphill battle if you choose the path of like I described, where you actually pick a thing you want to do, you self-learn, you make your own kind of portfolio, you make your own work, and then you just send out proposals and hope for the best. When I started off with automation work, I used to send 10 proposals a day on Upwork, 10 a day. If you haven't sent Upwork proposals, that's a lot. But realistically, I just spent all day, every day, just sending those proposals, right? Every day I had free. I was sending proposals. I did a part-time job. Whenever I came back from a part-time job, I spent the whole week, whole evening sending those 10 proposals. And after a week of doing 10 proposals consistently each day, somebody just responded. It's like a pure numbers game. And then it became a case of you presenting yourself. And at that point, the part-time job was actually sales. So I have that background. And I'm going to touch on that a bit later. But yeah, it was actually sales. And yeah, I could actually convince somebody to give me a shot, and it was terrible. The first few jobs, I completely botched it. Well, the first one, it was fine, I guess, but I just undersold myself so much that the person just kind of lost interest in the project we were doing. I could like pay like $60. It was funny. And then the second project, I actually asked for normal money, like $500 or something, and the dude agreed, but I couldn't do the job, so I had to do a refund. That refund was really nice because it taught me that it's not that serious. If you fail, if you communicate well, people understand. And as long as you don't make really, really dumb mistakes, the consequences aren't that bad. And I just returned the money and kept going. And that was nice. So if you're kind of concerned about messing up like I did, if you're like at the edge of starting, or maybe you can kind of look back at your career and comment down below if you felt the same thing. But sometimes you expect the worst and then the worst happens, or you're afraid of the worst, then the worst actually happens and it turns out it's not that bad at all, which is like a comforting thought. Um, but yeah, that's the gist of it. I definitely went the fake it till you make it route, because even though I had the experience, I had been running like e-com stores for 5 years before then, and I did get a lot of experience like building automations and building web stuff and building websites and stuff like that. It was all my own stuff, right? It's own for myself. It's nothing like that I've delivered for clients. And making that leap from making your own stuff like a portfolio to actually having a client is a big leap. And definitely not the easiest path. Well, not the most logical path. Definitely a more logical path, like I already said, is just investing those 5, 10, whatever years into working under somebody, learning the craft, the apprenticeship phase, and not skipping that step, because then you can actually go around and do jobs and take jobs with confidence, and actually move around and say people, hey, I've done this for 5 years and I'm really good at it. Because if you don't, if you all you've done is made your own stuff for your own self only for portfolio, you don't really know yourself. So it's really hard to sell yourself when you're not confident in your skills. Yeah, there's this annoying gap. After the first few jobs, it just disappears. After the first few jobs, you actually are so confident in the workflow flow. You know how this goes. You know what to ask. You know how the pricing goes. You know what to fall in. You already can kind of, like, all the pitfalls you went on and found out on the first few jobs, you already see so clearly on the third job, on the fourth job. It just like stands out like some shiny rocks. And discovery call, a client says, oh, I need this, and you right off the bat know that that's not the case. They don't need that because you already tried that with the other client. It was a disaster. So you say, no, I know best, let's do this instead. And then you can say that with confidence, and that kind of makes all the difference. um, so it's good. So it's even if you choose the path, fake it till you make it, it's doable. But definitely better way is to learn the craft. What I did though, I did acquiring skills. There's different things you can actually acquire when it comes to skills other than the main thing that you offer as a service-based business. I'm talking all about service-based business because that's my thing right now, right? So, and there's a thing you can do to acquire skills that you need that are not like directly correlated to the thing that actually is. Because doing your own thing, running your own business, is a bit different than actually working under somebody. Um, like there's one thing where your boss comes and says, hey, you have to do this, or your manager comes and you have to do this and that. Okay, cool. You know what to do. You're not responsible. You're responsible for your own thing. You're not responsible for the project. Your boss is stressing at you. And that's a different thing than actually going around and searching for clients, actually closing deals, taking accountability for everything from A to Z, managing your taxes, managing your finances, managing the project from start to finish, and dealing with situations that come up that are out of your control, right? And all of a sudden your ass is on the line. So even if you went the traditional path of learning something really deeply under somebody else, which is smarter, when you actually run your business, you might still have a skill gap, and that skill gap isn't actually associated with your the service you're providing, with the skill that you have, with the deliverable you want to do. It often is to do with the other aspects of running a business. So what I did actually was I went around and took on part-time jobs that benefited this idea of me running that business, right? So in my case, I used to be like a digital marketing agency agent, whatever, digital marketing assistant, was a junior position. I got fired there. That's beside the point. But I was working there for like a half year, maybe a bit more. I got fired. Then I was like, okay, what to do next? I was already starting to do the service business. I really figured out, hey, I want to do some kind of automation work. I had, started twinkling with that. But I really quickly realized on first few calls that I fucking suck at sales, really, really bad. And the marketing job, all the stuff, all the experience of making businesses before on the e-com store just couldn't prepare me for that, because I actually had to speak with people and close deals. It's a completely different beast. It's so much harder in reality. So what I did, I looked for part-time jobs for sales, and just working for a year in a sales position, just like speed run my process on learning sales, right? These these businesses have all these training modules purely designed to make you up to speed on all the sales tactics as soon as possible. um, Even if you don't end up like having the job your first few months, sometimes the sales job is pretty hard, right? Because you have to have quotas and stuff, and it's pretty ruthless. But yeah, even if you don't make it to the end, right? Even if you do for a few first 3 months and kind of they fire you or something because you suck, you still get all of that free training under your belt, and that's awesome. That's such a great opportunity. And one of the good things I actually did in my experience when running a business, taking a job and learning sales, because it helped a lot in learning to close those first clients and presenting myself with confidence, and actually, drafting sales flows and actually figuring out what it means to convince somebody to do something. And yeah, that experience really opened my eyes in terms of you know, being smart about actually using jobs effectively. Because before then, I was just like of the mindset that I was taking part-time jobs that weren't really associated with what I was doing, what I was aiming for. So it was really a job for the sake of a job. And I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people work part-time jobs, work jobs that they hate, and kind of do their own thing on the side without first just going out there and trying to find a job that fits the thing they want to do. And it makes sense because finding a job is the same issue with finding a client. Because when you're looking for the job, you also have to convince that, hey, you can do that thing. And it's really hard to do when you have only your portfolio to back you up and you don't have like official resume or anything. And it's the same process. Landing that job and the skill you want to acquire is the same process of faking it till you're making it, um, that it is to find a client. So then I guess at that point it kind of rolls around and says, hey, why would you go for a job if you can just find a client? And shit, as I was recording this video, I kind of realized that that is the case, right? You're going to have to suffer either way. Suffering in this case is completely inevitable. You're going to have to deal with the reality that if you're walking that untraditional path, if you're making those traditions from one sector to another, you're going to have to face the reality of that you're going to be have to able to convince people that you can do a thing without actually being able to do the thing. Okay, so shit. If I came to this conclusion, then let's just talk practical steps. What are the practical steps to actually convince somebody you can do a thing? First of all, obviously, do what you can on your own, right? Create that portfolio, create those automations on your own, actually get the confidence behind some of the skills you do. I'm going to be frank, you can't really learn everything you're going to be able to learn on an actually business call. I think it's way more efficient to spend as much time as you can trying to talk to people who you can actually help and learn and try and get as front of many people as soon as you possible, because all the time you spend doing stuff for yourself is not as efficient as it will be when doing for somebody else. That being said, obviously, having like 1, 2, 3 projects just to have like a nice landing page to show your portfolio is fucking key. I'm gonna do an experiment. As I'm recording this, I realized that I can figure out a way, because right now I'm making websites for a light label agency. Thinking I'm gonna launch my own agency, and you can kind of follow along how I do that. I'm gonna try and fake it until we make it with the websites, because I don't have anything to show on my name, right? Everything I've done is under white labels. I can kind of add that as a reference, but that's about it. I think the move is yeah, I'm gonna follow my advice from this video. So yeah, you spend time to create some portfolio pieces just to make sure that it looks nice. And then you spend the rest of the time 100% just reaching out to people, like I did on Upwork, just sending out as much proposals as you can, fucking calling people and going to people. And it's gonna sound, this is gonna be the biggest hump you're gonna get over, that luckily my sales job allowed me to get over efficiently, because I kind of learned to face rejection head on their sales job, which is most people don't. So if you're really struggling with that, take a part-time sales job. You're not gonna regret it. It's the best self-improvement job you can ever take. But if you don't, you have to just talk. And 10 people a day, 10 proposals a day on Upwork, on Fiverr, on whatever the fuck you send your proposals, 10 cold emails a day. I guess for cold emails, you should try a bit more. Research it first, though. Don't want to get your emails banned. But yeah, just reach out as many people as you can. DMs, cold DMs. Just try and get in front of people. Spend all your time less on making portfolio. You got to make those 3 brief pieces, and then spend the rest of the time just talking to people. The first jobs, you got to realize, are going to be really, really scary, because you're going to be asking for money without the confidence that you can deliver. My advice here is to just aim for a refund. You don't think the worst case scenario is that you're going to have to send the money back. Just think of it as a side project where you guarantee that you're going to send the money back. I feel like that for some people might lift the burden off their shoulders. You're going to have to aim for that. And if you don't, there's just an upside, because it's really not that bad. I promise you, sending money back the first time you do it, it's not that bad. As long as you communicate, as long as you don't lie to the person, as long as you're transparent about the fact that, hey, I'm new. That's why I'm like, going to work my ass off. That's why I'm going to work this on the cheap end. And if I fail, I send all your money back. That's it. Don't do the other thing though. Don't do it like that you're gonna get paid only if you do it. That's dumb. Don't do that. That's the opposite of, because the client won't take you seriously. You won't take yourself seriously. It's like setting up yourself up for failure. Do the other way around. Say that, hey, I guarantee you a refund if I fail, and send the refund right off the bat. If the client is disappointed, or if you realize you can't do it, just send the refund as soon as possible. Say, hey, I messed up. I can't do the thing. And he might be mad, sure, but he's gonna forgive you real quick because you're a good guy or a girl. Okay, yeah. There's gonna be a day where I learn to speak my mind better than I did this video. But yeah, that's why I'm recording these videos, to learn to speak on camera efficiently and clearly. So yeah, see you now. Ciao, ciao.